Now let's get into the details. APC, Labour Party disagree over attack on Obi. The All Progressive Congress Campaign Council has accused the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, P2B, of taking advantage of emotions of the Nigerian youth and riding on the wave of religiosity and ethnicity. It said Obi would go down in history as the country's decisive politician. The special advisor on media and communication of the PCC, Dele Aleka, stated this at a press conference in Abuja. The president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was announced the winner of the keenly contested February 25th presidential election of Wednesday. Tinubu had polled 8,794,726 votes to defeat Labour Party flag bearer and his closest rival, Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, by 6,984,520 and 6,101,533 votes, respectively. Both Atiku and Obi had kicked against the results and vowed to challenge it, with each claiming that the election was fraught with violence and massive rigging. But Alake stated that he couldn't imagine how a divisive politician like Obi could take advantage of Nigerian youths who were earnestly in search of a hero. And he said for Obi, he would go down as Nigeria's most dangerous and divisive politician. He elevated his well-known clannish mentality to a most unfortunate height by openly anchoring his campaign on religious and ethnicity. He presented himself as a poster boy for and a champion of our country's fault lines. He took advantage of our youths whose expectations are fast-paced, who are uninterested in excuses, and who were in search of a hero. He pumped up their sentiments and ruled on their emotions while grandstanding as a savior. It was a false pretense. Obi's credentials are internally stained as a former governor with no remarkable legacy, he said. His Excellency, Supreme Court knocks Buhari hard. The Supreme Court on Friday descended heavily on the president, Major General Muhammad Buhari, retired, for disobeying its earlier order that the old 1,000 naira, 500 naira, and 200 naira notes should be allowed to circulate with the newly redesigned notes until the final determination of the suit filed by some state governments on the matter. The Apex Court also ordered that the old naira notes be allowed to circulate side by side the new notes until December 31st, 2023. A seven-man panel of the Supreme Court led by Justice John Okoro gave the judgment. Other justices that sat on the case are Emmanuel Ajim, Amina Oji, Muhammad Galba, Ibrahim Sulawa, Adamu Jauro, and Tijani Abubakar. In the judgment delivered by Justice Agim, the Apex Court held that Buhari breached the constitution in the manner he issued directives for the redesigning of Naira. On the disobedience of the Supreme Court's earlier order on the new notes, Justice Agim said Buhari's broadcast on February 16, 2023, that only the 200 naira notes should remain legal tender made the country's democracy look like a mere pretension. Justice Agim stated, "Let me consider the issue of the president's disobedience of the 8th February 2023 interim order that the new and old versions of Naira notes continue to circulate as legal tender until the determination of the pending application for interlocutory injunction. It is not in dispute that the first defendant refused to obey the said order. The President's 16 February 2023 national broadcast reproduced here in page 2731 demonstrates this disobedience. In disobedience of the order, he directed that only the old 200 naira notes will be circulated. Interestingly, there is nothing to show the implementation of even the directive. I agree with the ninth plaintiff that the first defendant is not entitled to be heard by this court when he has refused to respect the authority of this court and the authority of law from which the authority of the president and the government of Nigeria derives." We don't envisage post-election violence. Police. The Nigerian police force has said it doesn't envisage post-election violence in the country following the conclusion of the 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections held on Saturday. Reports that the announcement of the presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, by the Independent National Electoral Commission as the president-elect has been met with disagreement from some parties. The disagreement, however, was mainly from the supporters of the two major opposition parties, the People Democratic Party and the Labour Party, whose presidential candidates Atiku in the presidential election. Many of their supporters had taken to their social media handles to ask for the cancellation of the elections while demanding another election. Some had embarked on a protest while others vowed to ensure that their candidates' mandates was recovered. However, the police noted that it was not aware of threats of protest or violence over the announced presidential election results. In an interview with a correspondent, the force spokesperson, Olumiyinwa Adejobi, said, "We are not aware of any post-election violence in Nigeria and I don't envisage any. Prior to the election, there were fears that violence might erupt after the election, especially from dissatisfied supporters of candidates who lost the election. The National Peace Committee had asked the candidate to sign a peace deal to demonstrate their commitment to peace." Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM, and we are still on the stories making the headlines this morning. The stories, political news making the headlines this morning. And we have a story. 7 PDP states withdraw suit challenging Tinubu's election victory. 7 People's Democratic Party-led states, which filed a suit against the federal government at the Supreme Court challenging the victory of the president-elect Bola Tinubu at Saturday's presidential poll, have discontinued the suit. In the suit, which had the Attorney General of the 7 states as plaintiffs and the Attorney General of the Federation as defendants, the 7 states, which include Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, Taraba, and Sokoto states, has asked the Supreme Court to intervene in the just concluded presidential election, claiming that the declaration of Tinubu did not follow the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 and the Independent National Electoral Commission's guideline. The suit was challenging the failure of INEC to upload the election results to the IREV through the beavers. They also expressed fear of a potential breakdown of public order and civil disobedience. The notice continued, which was signed by their lawyer. The notice of discontinuance, which was signed by their lawyer, Mr. Mike Ozokeme, on Friday, said, "Take notice that the plaintiffs doth hereby wholly discontinue this suit against the defendant herein." Earlier, the states dragged the federal government before the Supreme Court over the conduct of the February 25, 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. Reports that the plaintiffs on February 28 filed a suit on the grounds that the collation of the national election results from 36 states of the Federation and that of the Federal Capital Territory for the said 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections have not been carried out in compliance with the mandatory provisions of relevant sections of the Electoral Act 2022, INEC regulations and guidelines. In the suit filed by their lawyer, Mike Ozokeme, the plaintiffs allege that the agents and officials of the federal government and INEC failed to transmit the collated result as prescribed by the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 and other relevant guidelines. Now, according to a source close to the counsel to the plaintiffs, the withdrawal became necessary since the election has already been concluded and that the suit was filed while collation was still ongoing, adding that the elections tribunal is the next bus stop. Another story we have for you this morning: people living with disabilities lament lack of access to polling units. The Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities have accused the Independent National Electoral Commission of putting into cognizance the challenges faced by its members in terms of accessing polling units. This is said was in spite of the provision of Section 54, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, which provided that electoral barriers against persons with disabilities and other vulnerable persons should be addressed. He noted that its members face diverse challenges, in some cases led to unintended disenfranchisement. In an interview with correspondent, the national president of the organization, Abdullahi Osman, said other voters, security officials, and electoral officers had limited understanding of the priority that should be accorded persons with disability. He stated from JONAPWD citizens observers deployed across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory during the February 25th election. It was discovered that the use of INEC from EC40H to capture data of persons with disability before accreditation commenced was not mentioned. Another is the unmentioned and hidden publication of the INEC EC30E poster to guide voters with hearing impairment on how to vote at a polling unit. There was also limited understanding by voters, security officials, and electoral officers over priority voting for persons with disabilities, the aged, visibly pregnant women, and nursing mothers to vote before others. Mental health triggers was caused by the elongated period of polling officers, especially at polling units where the voting process was elongated without seasonal breaks, he lamented. The next story we have for you this morning: obeys Supreme Court's ruling on old Naira notes. SAN tells federal government. A senior lawyer, Wahab Shitu San, has said that anyone standing in the way of the implementation of the Supreme Court ruling on the extension of the validity of the old Naira notes should be arrested and prosecuted. In the early hours of Friday, the Apex Court extended the validity of old notes on the grounds that the policy was implemented without due consultation. The Apex Court added that it was also not in line with constitutional provision. Consequently, the Supreme Court ruled that the old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira notes should coexist with the new ones until December 31st. Chitu, however, said once the Supreme Court sneezes, the country catches a cold. Once it makes a pronouncement, it takes immediate effect. The order of the Supreme Court does not require any other authority, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, before its directive should be complied with. Anyone standing in the way of implementation of the Supreme Court order should be immediately arrested, charged for contempt, and taken to prison, he stated. The next story we have for you: I respect Tinubu but won't join APC, Fayo say. Former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose on Friday said he would never join the All Progressive Congress, even though he had respect for the party's presidential candidate and the Nigeria's president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The former governor also backtracked on his earlier comment that he had resigned from the People's Democratic Party following the party's loss in the Saturday's presidential election. Fayose, who said he remained a PDP member, said he only steps aside. The former governor, in a statement titled, I didn't resign from PDP, I only stepped aside. Ayo Fayose urged Nigerians to continue to support and vote for the PDP, especially in the governorship and House of Members Assemblies elections. The statement read, I am not a member of the APC and will never be a member of the party. I have never hidden my respect for Tinubu notwithstanding. I believe that the 2023 presidential election is free and fair, and I am entitled to my views. I am not interested in contesting any political position again in my life. What I am going to contest for at 62, even if I want to contest, not under the APC. I have said it repeatedly that I can never join the APC. I am still saying it now. But I need to emphasize that Nigeria needs somebody who will say the truth at critical period in our history. The next story we have for you this morning, we are committed to defeating terrorism, Buhari. The president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, has said his regime remains committed to winning the war against terrorism and other forms of insecurity. He noted that his regime would stop at nothing to ensure citizens had a new Nigeria free from insecurity before bowing out of office. The president spoke at the unveiling of locally produced 700 Ashko Leyland troop carrying vehicles in Abuja on Friday. Buhari said, as a country, we are proud since the first 7 years we have been able to revitalize our armed forces for the protection of Nigeria's territorial integrity that was once violated by Boko Haram insurgency and other forms of criminality in the country. Let me also assure Nigerians the federal government remains steadfast and committed to winning the war against insurgency and other forms of criminalities. We will not relent until we have a new Nigeria that is free from the terrorism menace. The Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, said that the process of transforming the armed forces had been difficult because of the security and economic challenges confronting the nation. He, however, said the vehicles would help improve the operational activities of the armed forces. Benin monarch San congratulates Tinubu. The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewuare II, the royal court of Benin, members of royal family, and Benin Traditional Council have congratulated the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, saying he must be ready to be a unifier. Similarly, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Wahab Shitu, felicitated the president-elect, expressing confidence that his emergence would bring positive development to the country. In a statement on Friday, Ewuare said Tinubu's victory at the polls was for every Nigerian. The statement read, your victory is victory for all Nigerians with hopes and aspirations for a better Nigeria, giving your antecedents, Ita Alia, as one of the foremost nationalists and successes recorded as governor of Lagos State. I am confident that you will excel in the discharge of your onerous mandate that has now been democratically placed on your shoulders by the people of Nigeria. In other stories, African Union congratulates Tinubu on election victory. The head of the African Union Commission on Friday congratulated the winner of the Nigeria's firstly fought presidential election, Bola Tinubu, urging all parties to uphold peace and the rule of law following the vote. In a statement, Faki Mahamat said that any post-election dispute or grievance should be pursued to the judicial system as provided by the law, as opposition parties claimed massive vote rigging in the February 25th poll. Faki also commended the people of Nigeria for demonstrating resilience in their commitment to democratic values by casting their votes for the leaders of their choice. Almost 25 million people cast their ballots on Saturday in a poll that was largely peaceful, but marred by long delays and slow arrival of online results, angering voters and opposition parties. Ruling party candidate Tinubu, a former Lagos State governor of the ruling All Progressive Congress, was declared winner with 8.8 million votes, and the required numbers of ballots across two-thirds of Nigeria's states. The next story we have for you this morning, presidential election, INEC performance, woeful, says Mohalo. A former presidential aspirant on the platform of the African Democratic Congress, Kingsley Mohalo, has berated the Independent National Electoral Commission over the conduct of Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections, saying the electoral umpires' performance was woeful. Mohalo, who stated this in a series of tweets on Friday, which he titled "My Take on the Election Outcome," said INEC and election management in Nigeria need a complete overhaul, adding that elections must be made logistically efficient and transparent. The former deputy governor of Central Bank noted that the 28% turnout of voters, which according to him was lower than the 34% recorded in the 2019 general election, was disappointing. The phenomenon needs a separate interrogation to understand why it happened when 87 million voters collected their PVCs, he added, stressing that such voter turnout levels undermine the meaning of democracy. He added, kudos to the youth of Nigeria who turned out enthusiastically to vote for their candidates. You have altered the trajectory of politics in Nigeria. Whatever disappointments you may have with the process or the outcome notwithstanding, Mohalo noted, legal fireworks were expected from candidates aggrieved by the outcome of the election, adding that it is their right and no one should begrudge them, that I salute them all, he said. Now, the last story we have for you this morning before we get to hear from you is New Naira Emefiele acted irresponsibly on policy. Akeredoro. The Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredoro, has commended the Supreme Court on its verdict over the controversial Naira policy of the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria, saying the ruling was well considered. Akeredoro, who blamed the CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister for Justice, Abubakar Malami, for allegedly misadvising the President, Major General Muhammad Buhari, retired on the policy, said that the CBN acted irresponsibly on the matter. The governor stated this in a statement he issued on Friday. According to Akeredoro, the ruling of the Apex Court was in tandem with the position of his government on the matter. He said the CBN governor and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice misadvised the president to assume powers of an emperor answerable only to himself and not other authorities as enshrined in the law. It is deplorable to witness small businesses collapse with unbelievable rapidity, and we have been regulated, we have been regaled with tales of the humanization of ordinary Nigerians who have been forced to strip themselves naked in banking halls, hoping to be given their monies to keep the monies kept with their banks, he said. Some have lost their lives needlessly for being unable to access their deposits in the banks upon demand. The governor of the CBN acted most irresponsibly when he claimed to be exercising powers that the CBN Act does not invest in his office. Okay, so there you have it. The governors. Why did the governors who sued the federal government and why did they withdraw the case? Because already the election have come and gone, and now everything will now have to go through the tribunal. That's why they did it in the first place. And then a whole lot of people are still attacking the victory of the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you think that the president is very much committed in the fight against terrorism, just the way he's saying it this morning? And then recent victories of the security operatives in some parts of the country over terrorism will give you the answer for that. And then the governorship election on the 11th of March. Are you prepared? Are you getting ready for it? What are your expectations? 08096 That's the number you call and then you become part of this conversation this morning. Views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. Let's hear from you. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
I want to just around you calling all the way from the city.
Okay, please take it away.
Please, can I speak Igbo?
Yes, speak Igbo, please.
Okay, because Matthew, I make a job.
Okay, Dalu.
Because anyone might be doing for education.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Attorney General. Actually, Supreme Court and Attorney General, the legislature, the legislature can make final say. I think that this Supreme Court is maybe old Naira no. Then Attorney General, and so ready to know that as the president of the country. Now, the Supreme Court and President of Nigeria, now the Attorney General, they don't know the final say.
Okay, a senior advocate this morning na-ekwu na Attorney General emetelia na Supreme Court ihe Supreme Court kwuru ka ekwesịrị na-eme already yọta so na even na nke a even the Supreme Court ekwugokwu ya ka ọkwa na the president fail order ha nyere na ha kwuru a particular thing then the president sisi wepụtaba 200 ebe ha kwugosi wepụta the entire thing president sisi wepụtazie 200 so now the Supreme Court is knocking hard on him. And yet, Oka nwekwa immunity as the president. So maybe ihe niile ha na-ekwu na bụ maybe after he opposed office or where answer to most of the things ha na-ekwu. But I think what the Supreme Court is saying right now stands because the presidency release any statement after the Supreme Court to see if happen. So that's the thing.
Okay. I still have a question.
Okay.
Then, because Attorney General, now president, now you make that mistake the Supreme Court system. Now you will say your money, old money, now getting that situation to go back where. But speaking of father and now the old currency, people in that place are not the money. And speaking of father and now old currency.
Okay.
Now, what is the ground of Nigeria the Supreme Court to go and the security? We may implement the currency.
Yes. Oh. Yes, it is left for us as citizens to enforce this. Like all the Zelanyuan get enforced there towards the people when I even cannot reject and everything, even towards banks, because na Supreme Court na Supreme Court so everybody will have to follow suit. And then we have not heard from the presidency. So what we have heard from government is what we, the citizens, get melele, and what we heard from the government is what the Supreme Court is saying. So I get melele. So that's the thing. And when yours are you
Okay. Another one because
okay. Okay.
Because now, what is election more than my family, my baby, I never this voter card. So I have a baby, I get it. So the moment Nigeria court may put into my baby, 20 full contract agent was Atiku and Bugatti.
The situation of that particular election be different from this particular situation. Three people they are very active in the election. So I demand to go for opportunity to inspect their election materials. Case from there because and if you watch most of the candidates now accept a win, in fact, like the PDP candidate, the presidential candidate of PDP, Atiku Abubakar, acknowledge that yes, P2B took some of the votes PDP is supposed to get on a very good day. In this acknowledgements, I are very tactical about the entire thing, and at the end of the day, I am webe ejebe yota or mambo at the end of the day I approve everything beyond reasonable doubt really to see what happen. And then everybody will right Pabiazen and tribunal on from INEC officials and the rest of the thing. So the only thing I want to just watch go to the tribunal only also. Yeah, Jessica and also but oh my brother. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. The numbers you call and then you become part of this conversation. 080-9666-1035. That's the number you call. And then you become part of this conversation. Then in case if you're trying and then the network is messing with you, because already, yes, we are experiencing a little bit of a network issue, but keep the calls coming and then you can send SMS or WhatsApp on 080-9666-1035. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, my brother.
Okay,
Gabaniru.
Speaking of people who are very good and they're so good now. Always go for it. That's what I think of to a poor one. Okay. People now, people trying to go for the and this is people. Because when I want that in the higher to here, that's why not to here, see how to reach I'll take an accord to go to the where you in the sack. Come on, see my hair, what I'm a diet. This is safari. I can pop already clear that nobody should unable to drink. Yeah, I see my own cut. So here we are the simple. That was really good. That's the good thing. And the square goes up by how it would relate that way.
Okay.
Kind of this president. I was happening. This 2023. Even like let this work and look at the 10 characters to what and this. Because they may bring a good solution and I do not talk higher cost. I put it through. I want to from the yes, never. What can I put a mistake here? Because people die or they don't. And this is one of the when you do medicine job, no matter what,
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. What are your views when it comes to politics in Nigeria today? 080-9666-1035. That's the number you call, and then you become part of this conversation. You know, it is very important we get to talk talk about these things. It helps to shape the polity the way it goes, basically, you know. So we are here to know exactly what you think of all of this. Hello. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Take him. Okay, Gabani. Ọfọkwa nke 11th March, nke 11th March na-agakwa. Onye because no OPT the advantage n'anya fa na ị na-ekwukwazi oke na-afụ ka ndị mmadụ si ekwu okwu onye nwere ya fitie nke elu onye ọ bụ mana eziokwu ọnwa ajụjụ nwa eju gị ihe m chọrọ ịjụ gị bụ Obinna biko iwe wena iche ka m jụọ gị ịmago na ọ bụ na nke na mmadụ na-enwe okwu wee na-achọ ije kọt onye a ga na-asị ka eje kọt ọ bụrụ na o mejọọ gị eruzie na kọt iprove nwụọ mana ịbụrụ mgbe a ga na-eje kọt ọ ga-adị so confident as well na nyanwa ga-emeli gị na the kọt mana ịma na onye a mejọọ gị So ihe ejizi maka na oke na ịmalụ ihe enwe ike ime na court withdraw na ịma nje dị court otu a ka esi kwesị isi wee mịa.
Ọ ya wụ okwu ha na-ekwu were ma gị na mmadụ ọ na-ekwu okwu ọ dị na mmadụ adị na mma ị na-asị mọchasị na-eme na ihe a ị na-ewe n'lekchọ onye nwe ya ga-echeta ma onye ahụ na-ekwu okwu ike ma onye ahụ na-ekwu ike ị na-asị mọchasị na-eme ihe ahụ elekshọn na onye ahụ nwere ị ga-eme owu kọntrata pese na onye ahụ hapụzire ụzọ o siri onwe ihe na aka esonye tụgharị akwụkwọ ọ wụgo nwunye itinye ya bụ ọgbọ nwunye nne ya ndị anyị na-akpọ nkata esi itinye ndị mara na ọ bụ onye dịka chọn ọ bụrụ na ọ nwere nke a na-akpọ ihe ndị a na-amasị ụwa mmadụ nye ọkụ ma ụwa mmadụ nke ma ọ bụrụ na nke ọ na-eche na ndị na-awụ mmiri ọkụ aka laịta isi ezigbote mmiri ọkụ eji ọdụ ike eji eji mgbe nwaanyị eka ike ya ọkụ ọkụkọ ọfụma ndị na-akọ ngazileti nwere mmadụ aka ya nwere ihe awụ ọkwa ndị bụ ọ nwere ife na sọma ka anyị tụlete something like a na-akụ da ike akọ.
Okay, so ka ị na-ekwukwazi ya congratulate bezi ebe ị na-asịkwa okay so ebe enwe m ajụjụ again enwe m ajụjụ bifo finish enwe m ajụjụ mbụrụ ebe ikwelụ ka isi na ya eje na court at the same time isikwa ya congratulate na ka ezi nke ọ ga-eme
achọrọ m eji na kọtụ ka m na-adị m na-achịkasị na nwere ihe a na-eji na kọtụ dị ime ka nwere nwere na onye nwere ime na ndị a na-akọ ngaji etiti ndị iji nwere mmiri ọkụ eji mbụ ndụ anya ga-were ngwa ndị a n'onwe ha na-akọ ngaji ndị ọzọ ihe ya na-abụghị onye ya akpọtara ha ejikọtago ha nwunye a na-echegbu ogo ese ha a na-achị na ejide kọtụ na-eji m akọ iwe nwunye na onye nwere nwunye ịna-atụ ihe a tụọ ya m na-agwa ndị gbara gị na a sị na anyị che nwunye dịka ha echegide ebe ahụ nke ndị echiri nke ọgọ ndị achịrị
nsogbu arụ ka ndị ọzọ batakwazi nsogbu arụ anyị aghọtaghị inwe ikwu don't worry ka ndị ọzọ batakwuzie. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. What are your views basically? Ịghọtago anyị enwere ebe anyị kwụ ịghọtago n'ihe niile anyị enwerelu nke anyị kwụ akwụ na ya ikwuo yes si well onye ahụ ga-demand for it onye ahụ will go for it, you know, and that's like one of the things I think most of us we misunderstand sometimes. Power is not just given, it is taken. You know, you have to take it like you have to grab it. You have to grab the bull by the horn basically and do the needful that you are supposed to do. You don't say Ejana court at the same time. You know, whatever that is your right. If you claim or you claim, or you claim, it won't be given to you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. How are you doing?
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm very fine. Your name and location? Okay, please take it away.
Yeah, please, I want to say something about this program.
Okay.
What I want to say is concerning the election who has come and passed.
Okay. Okay.
You know, this Nigeria, there's something I understand about Nigeria. And this thing we have to put it in writing and understand it.
Mm.
That Igbo man, how to say this? I feel that Igbo man cannot be the president of Nigeria. The best thing for us to do as Igbo man and Biafra is to fight for freedom and look our own country or a nation. Because if I didn't even see what she her mother, like down, and this thing has to tell people to wake up from the sleep of slumber. I stay for freedom. I stay for their own.
Okay, but I'm coming. This is basically not I'm coming. No, you don't have to continue in that particular. You are not supposed to be supporting you to be like causing like trouble. You shouldn't tell. No, you won't. I won't allow you to tell people to agitate. You know, you don't like incite people to agitate. It is not proper.
Let me tell you why I say so.
Mm.
Why I say so is that, you know, one of our brothers has contested for president. Yeah. The people contested for president. He said, now our own brother again has contested for president again. This is, we know he was the person that won the election. And now they say Beaver did not upload, Beaver did not do this. They now read the election and take the election now to another tribe. They are not related. Now, there is a song that said that if our people don't have a thing, and when people wanted to rule this country now, they want to find a thing who will bring them together. And that change is in the salon. So what I'm saying now is that we people, Igbo, should come together and one umbrella. Even though we want to be the president of Nigeria, we want to come
I have a
together.
question for you.
Now,
I have a question for you before you continue. The question I have for you, you said yes, you agree that the person won the election. So do you think, don't you think that the best way for the person, the best thing he's supposed to do is to go and claim that mandate that he won in the first place?
thank you. Listen, claiming the mandate, you cannot claim the mandate in Nigeria because in
Who told
Nigeria,
you? But he has done it before in the same Nigeria, in a different
he
setting
done
of
it,
governorship.
he done it in Anambra.
Mhm.
Anambra is an Igbo land. You cannot do it in Nigeria because Nigeria was part with Fulani.
He
And
did
you
it
can
in a
start
Nigerian
going back.
system. And remember that most of those cases were like maybe some of them they got to the level of even going to Abuja in so at some point and everything. You remember that, right?
Why he did not do it when he was the vice president of Atiku in 2019? You should have do it then and remove the president administration
The
then.
circumstances of that particular election is quite different from the circumstances of this particular election. And you are talking about Atiku now. I'm coming. You are talking about Atiku, who is now also saying that he agreed to the fact that P2B took some of the votes that PDP is supposed to take on a very good day. So if he can acknowledge that, that will tell you that what we are doing here is about, they are dealing with facts. They are not dealing with sentiments. They are dealing with facts. So we have to always deal with facts.
Martin, let me tell you something.
Okay.
This was before in this election. And if you go to the Supreme Court, you need to claim his mandate. So we started from the person that took second. And nowhere in Nigeria, except the ruling party, can be choosing anybody who is not in the ruling party. What I'm saying is that we have to go down and come back to Biafra land. Let's find our own country. Going to the Supreme Court will not help him. Going to any court will not make him the president. Rather to
Okay.
come back home and bring his people.
Thank you so much for joining
That's
us
all
this
I have to
morning.
say.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. And if you look at it, the same thing. Yes, this person got this, and at the same time, you're telling the person, leave that thing that you got, don't claim it, and come back. And then, what are you now talking about? The person is, if you believe that this person got this thing, is the person that is supposed to take it. You have to encourage the person to go and claim whatsoever that it is his rights. Now that's the thing. Now I don't know exactly how you understand it, but 08096661035, that's the number you call, and then you become part of this conversation. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and location, please.
Okay, my name is Benjamin.
Why? Okay, please take it away.
I want to say something about this election.
Okay.
I like your program because I always listen to your program the Monday, 3 o'clock to 4:30, and then 10 to 11 we start.
Yes.
So, but
thank you so
I
much.
Like your, I like the way you speak, but at times you don't speak like I know balance something. You don't balance it because I know the work is you are trying to speak that you are job, but at times you feel balancing. But let me just tell you why I'm saying this. This election, I have a bad side, and I myself I try to make sure I voted. So and I voted to make sure that this election position that Buddha will work. You see now, because I know that the election in Nigeria is not it's election, not election. It's a selection because of the visa. That's why even the youth and someone like me now who has a problem, I make sure I voted.
Okay.
But the way they did it doesn't make sense at all. That shows that Nigeria is too far. And I want to bring another 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 thing that happened during that election. So for you to know that this election is not proper, you know.
Okay.
You know that I urged my son in Lagos to make sure that he voted with the wife. I quarreled with him that since in the election, they never took him. I didn't participate in the election, but this time around, I quarreled with them, all of them, and I told them you must vote. And one in Lagos, he went to vote with his wife. I told him, even if you cannot, because I know that where you're working is far from where you're living. So make sure you go, even if even if you're going to sleep in the bank where you're working, so that you make sure you vote. So that, that day, on Friday, he took the wife and to see it. He went and cleared that where he registered in the hotel. They said 19,500 for that day and a half. You know that on Saturday morning, when they came to the decision to go to the wife, they say somebody came. You know the man, you know more something to call him. They came to that place and said that no one should go to Nocho. No one should go to Lagos, that they should go back to their home. So that the Anambra or Igbo land to vote.
Okay.
And then he thought it's a small thing. But when they saw that they are ready to kill people, the people who say that people tried that they are ready to kill anyone. And then he was with the wife and the two kids. One is 3 months, one is 2 years. So how can he has to point to left?
Okay. So yes, like what you are saying now, we have, yes, these things are facts. Just the thing you just said now, they are facts. And let me just start with the ones, the fact that you say that, okay, I don't balance things, but let me explain balancing for you. Your concept of balancing is not the same with the ethics of the job that we do. We know about our ethics. You don't even know the ethics of this job if you are not, like, if you're, for you to even talk about the ethics of this job that I'm doing right now, you have to be a professional and understand the ethics. So do it by balancing it the way, by the ethics of this job, not by being sentimental. I don't have to be sentimental about what I'm doing here. You understand? So that's the major thing. So that one address. Let me now bring it to the one you talked about. A lot of it's not even international communities, acknowledge the fact that the election was marred by violence. You understand? So you talking about it, it's not like it is not a fact, it's fact. So that's the reason why the people, the presidential candidates, that's the reason why they must go to the tribunal to also talk about some of these things. And in doing so, they will shape our electoral process. Continue.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming. Please, let me say that. What I'm trying to say is that if this country wants to move forward, that person who did it, they're supposed to cancel that Lagos. Even they're supposed to cancel anybody who say you want. You're supposed to cancel that Lagos, that state.
Why would they cancel? You will talk about that particular poll, not Lagos entirely. Because in some part of Lagos, no, I'm coming. So in some part of Lagos, people voted very well. In areas like Amu or Dofi, there was no disturbance. People voted as much as they can. So you won't say because of one polling unit, you should cancel the entire Lagos state. You should be talking about that particular polling unit. Maybe you should cancel that polling unit. That's what you should be talking about now.
I'm coming. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
I have to raise the point.
Okay.
So, and it happened the same thing at Kofi. The same thing happened at the same nobody, even the community that even the business of Kofi was where I have a friend. The same, my best friend is living in Kofi. He said even he went to back to vote. He said even the indigenous of that town was bad to vote. If you cannot vote for his candidate, okay. Even the indigenous is not allowed to vote.
Yes.
We were standing there. If you vote, they kill the person and say something.
That's what I'm talking about. Facts. They are facts. We know they happened. We know they happened. It's just that we are taking so much of the time so far. So I want you to conclude so that another person will come in. Okay. Conclude quickly, please.
So what I'm trying to say is that Nigeria should get it right by the time they stand up. It is to make sure that this kind of thing does not work, does not happen. Now that they are doing this thing, and that person after doing it, they now say, now this man will want, and this person will want, and that person actually to go to court. Don't you see that there's something that side that there's something CCB. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not all a spade. If Nigeria does not want to be one, let them divide. But if they are going to be one, let it build one Nigeria. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you. So let's allow another person come in. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi. A lot of other people are like waiting on you to to get on board, and then also talk about their own views. It is, you don't have to be so emotional and then you want to take over the time and then you want, you also have to be go straight to the point, talk, like say this is what I want to say, and that's it. Good morning.
Why?
Yeah, how are you doing this morning? Oh, please call back 08096661035. That's the number you call, and then you become part of this conversation. Hello. Hello. Oh, hello. Hello. Wow, network is well. Hello. Hello. Wow. Please call back. On Facebook, we are being joined by Samson Hope. As you said, in everything you said you love the program. Thank you so much for liking the program. Then I will still say it again, your idea of balancing is not the same with what this job, what this job is entail, like what it takes, it is not the same. And then I thank God you understand at the end of the day what you said. You understand exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing here. And that's exactly how I'm supposed to be doing it in the first place. So if I'm not doing it like this, then I'm not doing it right. But I'm doing it right. So basically, that's what it is. And people who understands knows. And then we somebody joined us from Facebook as well, Summit Kings. And he said regarding the ruling of the Supreme Court on the Naira notes, our leaders, they stress our life. Now that the Supreme Court has ruled the old Naira notes legal tender till December 31st, they should also order the banks to release some of the notes, the old notes, since okay, it says since the new notes is not circulating enough, we are really suffering. It wasn't like this in 2007. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Somi Kings. And then Omudufo Christopher, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, and then Samson Hope, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on everyone at 103.5 FM. The numbers you call and then you become part of what we're doing this morning, 08096661035, and then we air your views. Yes, it is still political views on Ebona and the 103.5 FM, and it's unfolding. And maybe what most people want me to say is, okay, I should support you, so I agitate, or why would I do that now? Or tell you to go and no. I wouldn't do that. Whatever you are trying to destroy, it all belongs to us. And whatever you want to go out there and show your anger for, there's no need doing that, since we have the legal means by which these candidates that we support could go and claim their mandate. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. My name is Good morning. I'm calling from you.
Okay, please take it away.
Yeah. I don't hear the following election
Mm.
of March. In the sense that it was in past elections. In another channel, they would say 3 million a year is party one. Nasarawa Katsina would say 40 million a year is party one. But people this election. Total vote cast now. Can see. One of them on 1 point, I think, or 2.2 or something thereabout. People 4 million, even in a family, that because we give us many aspects.
Okay.
For when I give us Albago, or we could share a transfer, what to see
the result itself.
Yes, but any transfer the result itself.
Okay.
Because I have a family. Okay, what the in past election, those or not, even if you didn't, a million finished after, how many million state our standard this last election? Therefore, Nandi of my Japan. Okay, we don't point that the aspect. Then I get the other aspect. About I think you're also here. Of course, you could drink. I am almost say. But some approach to be my where you out. Even all the bishops, a Catholic bishop from on that, and another teacher, you are Yalapuka, who get pastor, I don't want to want to, or sit the water. You want to just receive this point. Often I call to 3 years, not the win. You have to also gather, you see an actor. When often I call to see otherwise, or big deal. At the end of the day, one in a fair, I am face the history. Negative, you have formed governorship elector in this context. Yes, okay, this and we are going to take it back. To back at 2010 years. I will go. Madayana has been a years now. The governor of the go for president in Bar. I must get very good election after. Yes. In fact, we are over for 3 years. Now, we're not Korea. But I tell you, this is the what we made the second election. I say, no, and I'm not 1 year governor. You said it's going to end. But I think it's election. And you bow in here. The back of those also were particular. The back of course, of a 4 year community governor like that. This is this. Because when he has no police or not, and or consumer. MNC illegally. And all they want to record. That's history. 3 times so great history. Record on this country. If one of you mother ordinary,
mana onwe ndị na-ekwu na-asị na ọkwali na Anambra ma ọ maka na ana Igbo ka anọ n'ọ mere ọ ya bụ the thing na ọ ya bụ the question ọ ya bụ ya na-ajụzi okay.
Yes. Over 3 consider we are not three over 3 consider that is it. What I am with single. What in fact what I am with God.
Yes.
If you need you present your part. What is it that present their part? But all just side down. Then go this the opposite no another need this country I move from more international. Yes. I'm
okay. Okay.
Even PDP police agencies are saying for state or their citizens. Now I think that their own because fighting. I think they bring over 900,000 votes from Lagos.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Dele Momodu was the person that said it at the time. Thank you so much. Can also Batakwa Dalo. Thank you so much. Yes. It is still political views on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. You know, we still have time for you to get on board and then tell us what you think about all that is going on in the political space in Nigeria today. 08096661035. It is very important we get to talk about these things. Let's hear from you this morning. Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Ebeonadi.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, Gabani Ruchike. Hello. Oh, he plays to be on hold. Okay.
someone gets the bank. Bank another good share.
Okay.
All their call. That is the guy.
Only manaka wanaka Central Bank governor called this man still anyway. Nyawa as governor move so you make move basha.
You know that if you follow law, according to Central Bank according to Supreme Court, Ebeonadi is no longer a president by making that law because all Supreme Court uses the spirit of contract according to Supreme Court.
Okay.
So by against Supreme Court. So
we'll take some steps. Yes, I get exactly where network weapon again was sorry. But call back 0096661035. You can take some steps, but you will be careful as well because already some of the steps taken by some like the Ogun State governor is already being faulted right now that he shouldn't have taken such drastic steps. Let's see. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Welcome.
Hello.
No.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm more to take no video.
Negabaniru. I'm Mifine Gabaniru.
I want to know what is my brother. I am on the buy. That's the other man. What will love at my little wine out? I saw him protest, I saw him braille. He didn't talk to I can't call legally.
Okay.
What I did, then allow one day to make a money.
Okay.
People that can get money on what they need to or what is going on up why every time I see it. I do not know this year. But someone who I never want or my house. What I do. So I will allow and name some idea, another guy, where my one.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you. Yes. Really, so in everything. See, even when you begin to protest or agitate and do some other things, you are also causing problems for the persons, the individuals who are supposed to go to the court and claim this mandate. You are already disrupting the activities. You are already causing it, making it very difficult for them to get their mandate back, the mandate you give them. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Okay, Gabaniru.
Yeah. So, I'm a little bit Bakana, that's happy I try
Okay.
I'm a man encouraged. Yesterday, the jury issue, I'm going to book, no one spend when you're doing that, my friend, good. I thought getting that shit. Let's see now. For example, all of the people who come here to have an teacher, yes, they would have put the primary school. No, from like this, from like this, to the president. So, she cares to go to hard.
Okay.
And it's true to go line up. I used to tell her I think of this money. Like the way one is, like the way God. If I go up, I am happier. I use the scenario and guy go up. I'm going to put natural kitchen. Who is there? I am not able to get the my neighbor that she will stand up for this. Like the way, my parents, we are not. I'm very young. The other is just a you know, I will tell us a little bit of good that when you look at that, you call it. We are no matter when you do the thousand or fully the area of 6,000 naira. 6,000 naira, 1,000 naira. We are 7,000. 7,000, so because
that's equal. Okay. Good morning. Yes, I believe the governor will be paying attention to some of the things that we are talking about here this morning. So, anyway, with that, and we should even be thankful about what the Supreme Court did yesterday. So with time, that will get into effect completely. By Monday now, you see a whole lot of things changing. Basically, that's how I'm looking at it. So we should also remain calm in that, in that aspect as well. Hello, hello. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Okay. Afa gị na-ebe isi akpa anyị?
it's more on the night.
Afa gị kwan?
It's going
Okay, gaba n'iru Ngozi.
to go to the
Mm,
Oh, so can you see on
okay.
and the mother, you can hear my deed and after.
Mm,
The phone is like to do.
mm,
About the real estate and I'm looking at 20,000 and check. I think I will not for 10 years. Yeah, I don't know for half of the Kenya should to go. Maybe the corner and the mother.
okay.
And the mother now. But
Mm. Nsogbu. Thank you so much, Darren, for calling us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. It will get to the point where we'll be so sure, if somebody begin to charge you for that, But the thing is that most times, if you get to some places where you can get this money, it might just be one person out in the entire area, that is, disbursing this money. And if you look, you won't have any other option than to just to succumb to what they are doing. But with this thing that the Supreme Court have done now, very soon, I believe arrests will be made. That's how I see it. Hello? Hello, please call us back. 08096661035, because nobody have the rights to be selling our currency to us. Instead of you charging the just normal 200 naira or 100 naira you're supposed to charge for your, and then the person is now escalating it because or taking advantage of the situation. But let's see how things pans out now. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Yeah, I'm very fine. Your name and location,
Thank
please.
you. This is Monday,
Okay.
Johnson.
Okay.
I'm calling in this morning from Monica.
Okay, please take it away.
Let me have my check on the issue of P2B
Okay.
and his journey to court. Because already is there.
Mm.
My brother,
Mm.
I want to start with a question
Okay.
because I have electoral act with me here.
Okay.
In section 60 of the electoral act, if you go to, I think, subsection 5 of the electoral act,
Mm.
it talks about the presiding officer shall transfer the result. Are you getting it?
Yes, yes.
Including the total number of accreditation, votes, and the result of the ballot in a manner, take note of this statement now,
Okay.
in a manner as prescribed by the commission. Now, my concern there is the manner prescribed by the commission. Now, I'm thinking about the prayer P2B will be making in court.
Okay.
Because I'm very careful about it. If P2B goes to court and does not make his prayer proper, that case may not work out as it should. Are you understanding?
Okay.
But if he goes to court and make his prayer carefully, I think he will achieve something because INEC is given an omnibus power by this position
Okay.
to decide how election results will be transmitted.
Mm.
They can decide to say, let us go by manual counting. They can decide, let us go by an electronic transmission.
Mm.
This position now, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm trying to make justice out of what I've got read now.
Okay, yes.
But they are given the power to, the officer will transmit as the commission prescribes.
Mm.
Then I want to meet with this question with you so I can see how you can manage.
Okay.
And this very particular, just for the election, can you please, because you are a journalist, can you please help us? Which method did INEC, the commission, prescribe as to be the method they will use in releasing the result?
Okay.
Please, because you need to be very careful about whatever we say and whatever we do.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, and then in answering that particular question, I think one thing is everything will be directed to the tribunal. It's not even enough everything we talk about. Yes, we know about the procedure. A lot of things we are, altered. It is a fact. There are video proofs to a lot of things that is being said. A lot of things that even that particular moment of transmitting that result, the claims Dino Melaye was making is still binding. Because as at the time when Dino Melaye was making these claims, is basically about where you pointed out in the constitution. He was making this claim, trying to say that look at okay this thing, but the INEC chairman said it is after the process, and then the process ended. Now it is now time to take it to court, because if you look again, the 6 governors who sued the federal government to Supreme Court withdraw now, because everything will now be directed to the tribunal. So all of these claims will have to go to the tribunal, and that's how it is going to work out really. Then the prayers that is being made, it is the law. It is now the job of the lawyers who are now making the moves. The lawyers who like go about it. They are the ones who decide the proper way to go about it really. So it is in their own. It is in their hands to do so. And at this point, even it is limited the level you can help out now as an electorate. So it is now left for the presidential candidates and their legal team to do the needful, what they are supposed to do in order to actualize or bring back those mandates the people gave them. And that's how it is. Let's now hear from other people. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, how are you doing?
And I'm calling from myself. I'm okay.
Okay, take it away.
Thank you, my brother. God will bless you.
You too.
For making us there. So for releasing us from pressure
Okay.
of Nigeria electoral system.
Is
And
the
let's speaking that day the Jolly Sida try to recover from shock.
wow.
But
Take
to
it
make
easy.
pressure, all of us put to make sure that we can work out to make sure that Nigeria gets the right leader.
Take it easy.
But unfortunately enough, the leader, they are right, they are trying to be smart. But I know that with God by our side,
Mm.
we are going to win.
Okay.
Because I remember those days when I was in school, back then in Madonna, when this man was illegally and he told them that they had to conduct election in Anambra. He told them that if anybody to come to you and campaign that the governorship seat in Anambra is vacant, they tell them it's a lie. He came to the school was telling us that that. Unfortunately enough, they conducted the election.
Hello?
One.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Continue.
And about one, and he went to court and he claimed his mandate.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid, whatever any area they want to bring it from.
Okay.
Nigeria, youth and Nigeria as a whole are ready for them. Because it is truly mandate. It's not something that is. We do that. I wore his bedroom silver to the office. I couldn't even know what I was putting on because of the show. No, you can't see the pressure they put person through.
You have to take it easy. You have to take it easy.
Let me just relax from you. Let me take it away from me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, it is still political views on Ebeonadi 103.5 FM. We must make sure that we don't put this thing to heart. Yes, we've done our own part. We need to now allow the politicians to do their part now. We don't have to put it so much on ourselves. We just need to take it easy and then go back to our lives again. After the election on the 11th, we'll come out again and vote. Make sure that we vote the right people we want in the local areas, and then just continue with our lives. Hello? Yeah, good morning. Move away from your radio set or put it off, or please. Apa gị na-ebe isi akpọ ayo gbanyụọ redio gị ka ebe isi akpọ gbanyụọ redio gị ka mụ na gị ama mkpanwu nkata gbanyụọ redio gị ngwa gaba n'iru gabazie n'iru kịta Mm.
1,500
till December 31st. Na a ga-edebezi ego na bank. The thing about the Supreme Court Ekugie, so the directives gagazi from now on Ekugie Boni Ekugie, so all implementation can now. So from Mondays I have implementation. Monday the week, the day all official duties in a bidon na government offices, right? So from Monday I have okay say implement is the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Yes, it is still political views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM, and we're winding down, to the moment where I will have to say, see you some other time. But right now, we still have a few minutes. You can still call in and then tell us what you think on all that is going on in our political space this morning. Yes, we got a message from Engineer Efanyo Buse, aka Georgia Amani from Azubunike. But let's take this call before we get to that message. Hello.
Hello, Anna. Good morning.
Good morning. Man.
I'm very well.
Thank you so much for joining us. Apagina Bisa, why? Okay, Gabani Ruo. Okay. No, thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Dialogue. Thank you. Yes, it is still political views. And then I was talking about the message we got from Engineer Ifeanyi Onwebusi, aka George Amani from Azubunike. And he said one thing that people would understand in this election is that it is the beginning of a new Nigeria. If an Okada man can win an election to the Federal House of Reps, which has never happened in the history of this country, then a new Nigeria is possible. P2B has already said that his mandate was stolen and he's going to recover it back with our support. So Okute Ndibo is a due process man and he would not fail. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Engineer Efanyo Onwebusi, aka George Amani from Azobunike. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I believe this is the point where I will have to call it a day on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. It's been fun hanging out with you this morning, then talking about most of the things that affect us as a nation, like all that is going on in the political space. So, but one thing is for sure, our unity is better, than our separation. If we are united as one, today most people are addressing the issue of Nigeria. A lot of people are looking for the new Nigeria, and most of them, like, it's not just about one part of us, like one section or one ethnicity. Is about all of us, because everything that happens to this person is also happening to the next person. Everything that happens to us as well is all in one way or the other affecting the African continent and the rest of the world as well. So in one way or the other, it's very much important that we stay united in order to achieve our purpose together. Irrespective of what we are looking at or what we are seeing today, it takes our involvement in trying to become part of governance in one way or the other for us to checkmate some of these things. And the process of even going to court to challenge the election or some of the things that the illegal things that we saw in this election is also part of the process of molding a better nation. So nation building is all our responsibility. Let us all put our hands together and keep building Nigeria to be better. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I remain Martin Ifeanyi Ekeze until we see again. Have a wonderful weekend.
Why make the time of the Most High? These sons of men. The rich man
Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. It is